Here's part 1 in approximately 800 words, written in simple English with a third-person narrative. The cold morning wind swept through Millbrook, a quiet village where dreams often seemed smaller than the surrounding hills. Emma Thompson stood by the kitchen window, her hands wrapped around a chipped mug of tea, staring at the crumpled letter from the textile factory. Unemployment had arrived unexpectedly, like an unwelcome guest that refused to leave. At 32, Emma was not new to challenges. She had raised her 2 children, Jack and Lucy, mostly on her own since her husband walked out 3 years ago. Her tiny cottage, with its peeling wallpaper and creaky wooden floors, had always been a sanctuary of love and warmth, despite their limited resources. Jack, now 10, was a quiet boy who loved reading. Lucy, just 7, had her mother's determined spirit. They knew things were tough, but they didn't fully understand the weight of their mother's worry. Emma had always shielded them from her deepest fears. The factory closure meant more than just losing a job. It meant losing the steady income that kept food on their table, kept the electricity running, and paid the small rent they owed. Her savings were minimal, barely enough to cover next month's expenses. "We'll be okay," Emma whispered to herself, a mantra she had repeated countless times. But this time, the words felt hollow. The village of Millbrook was like most small English communities. Everyone knew each other, but few truly understood each other's struggles. Some neighbors offered sympathetic looks, while others simply avoided eye contact when Emma walked past. Her mother, Margaret, lived in a nearby town and had her own health challenges. Emma couldn't burden her with their financial problems. She had always been the strong one, the daughter who managed everything independently. That evening, after putting the children to bed, Emma spread out her bills on the kitchen table. Electricity, water, council tax, groceries. The numbers seemed to dance and blur. Her hands trembled slightly as she calculated their remaining funds. Jack wandered into the kitchen for a glass of water, catching his mother in a rare moment of vulnerability. "Are we going to be okay, Mum?" he asked, his large brown eyes filled with innocent concern. Emma forced a smile. "Of course, sweetheart. We always are." But deep inside, she was terrified. The job market in their small village was limited. Most positions required skills she didn't have or connections she lacked. The textile factory had been her stable employment for nearly a decade, and now that was gone. She thought about her limited education, about the dreams she had put aside when she became a young mother. Night classes seemed impossible with childcare. Costs, and her confidence was at an all-time low. The local job center offered minimal support, a few part-time positions in retail, some cleaning jobs, but nothing that could support a family of 3. Emma's pride prevented her from immediately seeking government assistance, though she knew it might become necessary. As midnight approached, the house creaked and settled. Lucy mumbled something in her sleep, and Jack's breathing was steady. Emma realized that no matter how difficult things became, she would fight. For them, her children deserved a mother who never gave up. Outside, the streetlights cast long shadows across the empty village road. Millbrook seemed to sleep, unaware of the quiet drama unfolding in Emma Thompson's little cottage. One family's struggle, one mother's determination, invisible to most but monumental in its own quiet way. Emma looked at a family photograph on the wall. Her children's smiles seemed to give her strength. Unemployment was a challenge, but it wasn't her definition. She was a mother, a survivor, a woman with untapped potential waiting to be discovered. In that moment, surrounded by silence and uncertainty, Emma made a silent promise. This setback was not her ending. It was merely a difficult chapter in a story she was still writing. The first rays of dawn would bring new possibilities, and Emma Thompson would be ready to embrace them, one day at a time. Her journey was just beginning. Here's part 2 in approximately 800 words, written in simple English with a third-person narrative. The community college stood like a beacon of hope on Millbrook's main street. Brick walls covered in notice boards, windows reflecting. The morning light, it seemed both intimidating and inviting. Emma hesitated at the entrance, her worn-out jacket pulled tight against the autumn chill. Inside, young students bustled about, their conversations a mix of laughter and nervous energy. Emma felt out of place, her 32 years suddenly feeling like a lifetime compared to the fresh-faced teenagers around her. The registration desk seemed miles away, each step feeling like a challenge to her fragile confidence. Mr. Williams, a kind-faced instructor in his 50s, noticed her uncertainty. His gentle smile cut through her nervousness. "First time?" he asked, pushing a form across the desk. His voice was warm, understanding, nothing like the harsh factory supervisors she was used to. The computer skills course was free, sponsored by a local employment initiative. Emma's hands shook slightly as she filled out the registration form. Her last encounter with a computer had been years ago, a dusty machine in the factory office that seemed more like a mysterious device than a tool. Her first class was a tornado of confusion. Strange words like mouse, desktop, and browser swirled around her. Young students clicked and typed with lightning speed while Emma struggled to move the cursor. Embarrassment burned her cheeks, but Mr. Williams approached her quietly. "Take your time," he said, showing her how to hold the mouse. Everyone starts somewhere. Jack and Lucy became her unexpected support system. Each evening, they would sit, together, the children helping their mother practice her new skills. Lucy would giggle as Emma accidentally closed windows or typed nonsensical words. Jack would patiently explain how to turn on the computer, his young mind absorbing technology like a sponge. The local library became their second home. Free computer access meant Emma could practice without the pressure of the classroom. Librarian Mrs. Roberts, a retired teacher, would often help, showing Emma shortcuts and offering words of encouragement. Evenings transformed from moments of worry to sessions of learning. Emma discovered online job boards, typing tutorials, and free educational resources. Each small victory, sending an email, creating a document, searching for job opportunities, felt like climbing a mountain. Her neighbor, Robert Clark, an elderly widower, became an unexpected ally. He offered to watch the children during her evening classes, bringing homemade cookies and sharing stories of his own life challenges. "Learning never stops," he would say, his eyes twinkling with wisdom. The course wasn't just about computer skills, it was about rediscovering herself. Emma learned about digital communication, basic spreadsheets, and job application techniques. Mr. Williams recognized her determination, often staying after class to provide extra guidance. "You've got something special," he told her one evening. "It's not about age or past experience, it's about willingness to learn." Financial challenges remained. Some nights Emma would sit at the kitchen table calculating how to manage course fees, childcare, and basic expenses. But something had changed. The fear that once paralyzed her was slowly transforming into hope. Her mother, Margaret, noticed the difference. "You look different," she said during a weekend visit. "More confident." It was true. Emma was walking straighter, speaking with more assurance, seeing possibilities where she once saw only obstacles. The children watched their mother's transformation with wonder. Jack started helping her with homework, explaining computer concepts with the patience of a teacher. Lucy drew pictures of her mother, being a computer hero, covering the refrigerator, with colorful artwork. As weeks passed, Emma's skills grew. What once seemed impossible became routine. She learned to create a professional resume, understand job application platforms, and communicate digitally. The world that had seemed so closed was slowly opening up. Her final course assessment approached. Mr. Williams believed she could excel, but Emma's self-doubt lingered. Yet with each practice session, with each supportive word from her children and neighbors, her confidence grew. The hidden opportunity was more than just learning computer skills. It was about rediscovering her own potential, proving to herself that limitations are often just illusions we create. Emma Thompson was no longer just surviving, she was preparing to thrive. Here's part 3 in approximately 800 words, written in simple English with a third-person narrative. Balancing life became Emma's greatest challenge. Morning started before sunrise. a delicate dance of preparing children for school, rushing to evening classes, and managing household responsibilities. Her world had become a complex puzzle of time management and survival. Robert Clark, her elderly neighbor, emerged as an unexpected guardian angel. A retired schoolteacher with kind eyes and weathered hands, he understood Emma's struggle more than most. His own life had been marked by loss. His wife passed away 5 years ago, leaving him alone in their small cottage. "I'll watch the children," Robert offered one crisp morning. His voice carried the warmth of someone who understood family's true meaning. Jack and Lucy adored him, fascinated by his collection of old books and stories about local history. The children's school became another battleground. Some teachers looked down on Emma, seeing her as just another struggling single mother. But Mrs. Peterson, Jack's class teacher, saw potential where others saw limitation. She noticed Jack's intelligence, his quiet determination that mirrored his mother's spirit. Lucy, always more vocal, struggled with the whispers and occasional judgmental looks. Children can be cruel, and small communities often have long memories. But her mother's resilience was becoming her greatest lesson. Emma's computer skills were improving, but life remained challenging. Some evenings, she would collapse into a chair, exhausted from juggling classes, job hunting, and parenting. Robert would sometimes bring over a simple meal, shepherd's pie or homemade soup, understanding that sometimes support comes through small acts of kindness. The local community center became another lifeline. Free workshops, support groups, and occasional childcare services provided Emma with breathing space. She met other single parents, sharing stories of struggle and hope. These connections became her invisible support network. Her mother, Margaret, worried constantly. "You're taking on too much," she would say during weekend visits. But Emma had discovered something powerful, her own strength. Each challenge was no longer a barrier but an opportunity to grow. Job applications became a weekly ritual. Emma would spend hours crafting perfect resumes, practicing interview skills learned from Mr. Williams' computer course. Rejection letters arrived, but they no longer broke her spirit. Each no was just a step closer to a yes. Robert's involvement went beyond childcare. He taught Jack chess, shared historical books with the children, and provided a grandfather-like presence they had never known. His stories about local history and personal struggles became evening entertainment. "Life isn't about avoiding challenges," he would tell the children. "It's about facing them with courage and love." Financial struggles remained constant. Some weeks, choosing between heating and groceries felt like an impossible decision. But Emma's network of support, Robert, Mrs. Peterson, the community center volunteers, made those challenges more manageable. Jack started helping more at home. At 10 years old, he understood his mother's journey better than most adults. He would help with dishes, watch his sister, and provide emotional support that seemed beyond his years. Lucy, always spirited, found her own ways of helping. Her drawings and spontaneous hugs became moments of pure joy. "You're the best mum in the world," she would declare, her innocence a perfect antidote to adult worries. Emma's computer skills opened unexpected doors. Part-time job opportunities emerged: data entry, online customer support, small administrative roles. Each application was a step towards independence, towards a future she was actively creating. The community that once seemed indifferent was slowly changing. People started seeing Emma not as a struggling single mother, but as a woman of determination. Whispers of admiration replaced earlier judgmental looks. Winter approached, bringing both challenges and hope. Emma's world was no longer defined by limitations but by possibilities. Robert, the children, her emerging professional skills, all were threads in a tapestry of resilience. Her journey was far from perfect. Some days were harder than others. But Emma Thompson had discovered something profound, that connections, kindness, and determination could transform even the most challenging circumstances. The story of her transformation was just beginning. Here's Part 4 in approximately 800 words, written in simple English with a third-person narrative. The email arrived on a Tuesday morning, unexpected and life-changing. Emma's hands trembled as she read the message from a local business looking for a part-time administrative assistant. Her computer course certificate and recent training had finally opened a door she thought might forever remain closed. Millbrook Business Solutions was a small company dealing with local agricultural supplies. They needed someone who could manage their digital records, handle basic customer communication, and organize their growing online presence. Emma's heart raced as she realized this could be her chance. The interview was nothing like she expected. Mr. Harrison, the company manager, seemed more interested in her determination than her perfect qualifications. He noticed the lines of worry on her face, the subtle strength behind her nervous smile. "Tell me about yourself," he said. And Emma did. She spoke about being a single mother, about learning computer skills late in life, about her children and her journey. Her honesty was more powerful than any prepared speech. 2 weeks later, the offer came. Part-time work, flexible hours, and a salary that could change everything. Emma cried when she read the official letter. It wasn't just a job. It was hope wrapped in official letterhead. Her first day was a mixture of excitement and terror. The office was small but modern, filled with computers and busy people. Emma's hands shook as she set up her workspace. Mr. Harrison noticed her nervousness and offered a kind smile. "You belong here," he said simply. Robert helped her prepare. He ironed her best blouse, watched the children, and filled her with confidence. "You've worked harder for this moment than most," he told her, his eyes filled with pride. Jack and Lucy became her biggest supporters. They understood this was more than just a job. It was their family's turning point. Lucy drew pictures of her mother being a work hero, covering the refrigerator with colorful artwork. The first paycheck felt like a miracle. Emma could now afford better heating, more nutritious food, and small treats for the children. No more constant worry about basic necessities. No more choosing between electricity and groceries. Her colleagues at Millbrook Business Solutions quickly recognized her potential. Mrs. Wright, the senior administrator, took Emma under her wing. She saw beyond Emma's initial nervousness, recognizing a quick learner with incredible potential. Learning came with challenges. Some computer systems seemed complicated. Technical terms confused her. But Emma's determination was stronger than any obstacle. She asked questions, stayed late to practice, and slowly built her confidence. Mr. Harrison appreciated her work ethic. "You bring something special," he told her during a performance review. "It's not just about skills. It's about attitude." The local community began to notice the change. Neighbors who once looked down on her now saw a successful working mother. The whispers changed from judgment to admiration. Emma walked differently, spoke with more confidence. Her mother, Margaret, visited and couldn't believe the transformation. The daughter who once seemed defeated now radiated strength. "You've done something remarkable," she said, hugging Emma tightly. Finances slowly stabilized. Emma could now plan for the future. She started a small savings account for her children's education. Small luxuries became possible. A family pizza night, new winter coats, books for Jack and Lucy. Robert continued to be their guardian angel. His support never wavered. He would collect the children from school, prepare afternoon snacks, and share stories that made learning fun. Emma's job wasn't glamorous. It was simple, administrative work. But it represented so much more. Independence, hope, the possibility of a better future. Each typed document, each organized file, was a step towards her dreams. The turning point wasn't just about getting a job. It was about proving to herself and her children that challenges could be overcome. That resilience wasn't just a word, but a way of living. As winter approached, Emma looked at her family, Jack, Lucy, and their extended family of support, and realized something profound. Their journey was just beginning, and they were ready for whatever came next. Hope had finally found its home. Here's part 5 in approximately 800 words, written in simple English with a third-person narrative. 1 year had passed since Emma's first day at Millbrook Business Solutions. The woman who once feared unemployment now stood confidently in the office, respected by colleagues and valued by her managers. Her promotion came unexpectedly. Mr. Harrison called her into his office on a crisp autumn morning. "We want you as a full-time senior administrator," he said. The salary would change everything for her family. Jack and Lucy watched their mother's transformation with wonder. The nervous woman who once worried about paying bills now planned family holidays and bought them school supplies without hesitation. Their small cottage, once a place of stress, now rang with laughter and hope. Robert Clark remained their guardian angel. Now retired, he spent more time with the family, sharing stories and wisdom. He had become more than a neighbor. He was family. His presence gave Emma the extra support she needed to balance work and motherhood. The local community that once looked down on her now celebrated her success. Mrs. Peterson, Jack's schoolteacher, noticed how the children's confidence had grown. Jack's grades improved, and Lucy's spirit seemed brighter than ever. Emma's journey wasn't just about finding a job, it was about rediscovering herself. The computer skills she learned had opened doors she never imagined. She could now help her children with homework, understand technology, and feel confident in a changing world. Her mother, Margaret, saw the most significant change. The daughter who once seemed defeated now planned for the future. They would discuss savings, education plans, and family goals during weekend visits. Emma's transformation inspired her entire family. Millbrook Business Solutions recognized more than just her work skills. They saw her determination, her ability to learn, her commitment to growth. Mr. Harrison often mentioned her as an example of true professional development. Weekends became special family times. With a stable income, Emma could now afford small treats. Occasional trips to the local cinema, pizza nights, new books for the children. These were no longer distant dreams, but beautiful realities. Lucy's drawings now featured her mother in a business outfit, standing tall and proud. Jack helped her practice computer skills, their roles sometimes wonderfully reversed. The children understood the value of hard work and learning. Emma's colleagues became more than just work friends. They supported her, understood her journey, and celebrated her achievements. Mrs. Wright, the senior administrator, became a mentor and friend. The financial stability brought unexpected joys. Emma could now save for her children's future. A small college fund started to grow. She attended parent-teacher meetings with confidence, no longer feeling small or inadequate. Her computer skills continued to improve. Evening classes became a family activity, with Jack and Lucy often helping her learn new technologies. The fear of technology had transformed into a shared learning experience. The community center where she first found support now invited her to speak. Other struggling parents listened to her story, a testament to hope and determination. Emma became a symbol of resilience for many. Robert's stories continued to inspire the family. He would talk about his own life challenges, showing the children that difficulties were just opportunities in disguise. His wisdom became a cornerstone of their family's strength. As another year approached, Emma reflected on her journey. The woman who once feared unemployment now planned career growth. The mother who struggled to pay bills now talked about future investments with her children. Jack and Lucy saw more than just a successful mother. They saw a woman who never gave up, who learned, grew, and transformed challenges into opportunities. Their understanding of success was being shaped by her remarkable journey. The tiny cottage that once felt like a place of limitation now felt like a home of possibilities. Photographs captured moments of joy, family dinners, school achievements, quiet moments of togetherness. Emma's story wasn't just about finding a job. It was about finding herself, about proving that age, circumstances, and past challenges don't define a person's potential. That with support, learning, and determination, anything is possible. As evening settled over Millbrook, Emma looked at her family, Jack, Lucy, and their extended network of love and support. She realized that the greatest success wasn't in her job or her salary. It was in the hope she had created, the possibilities she had opened, the love that surrounded her. A new beginning had found its way home.